We had a pool at our old house, had it for a few years, and then when we moved here, one of the things we first moved in, we realized there's no pool. We need a pool, we miss it, and so we kind of started our search a couple of years ago.
So as Alicia mentioned, we had a pool at our last house, and we started looking probably a year or two ago to get one at this place, and honestly it was a bit frustrating of an experience. We actually started with a different pool company, and it was not a great experience for us. There was a lot of delays. We weren't really told where we were on the timeline. It just became very difficult, so we sort of just walked away from that. But then, we decided beginning of this year to go again, and Alicia found Pool Pros on the internet, and we went from there.
Decided to give them a call and see what they had to offer.
And working with Mike and the Pool Pros crew has been very rewarding. They were on time, they were great to work with. Certainly kept us up to speed on everything that we need to know on the timeline. And just watching them bring the pool over the top was certainly an exciting experience.
Some of the challenges we faced while we were shopping for a pool, as Justin mentioned, we started looking probably 2 years ago, and the pool company that we actually started to go with, their lack of communication, lack of a timeline, they couldn't tell us where we were in line, and it kept jumping. It started June and then became August and then into the fall, and we decided to walk away. Actually saw Pool Pros trailer on the side of the road in Appleton and said, hey, let's give them a call, and looked them up on the internet, and the communication was a big thing for, I think, both of us. And while we understand it's all dependent on weather, it's all dependent on, what Mother Nature brings, but it is nice to know at least you're first in line, you're 10th in line. Here's our estimated timeline versus we don't know, we can't give you anything. So it's probably the biggest challenge was the communication piece. The first day when Anthony came over with his bag of stuff, we sat out here on the deck and envisioned what we could do, couldn't do. We actually live on a sloped yard, so that was a little bit unique compared to a level, flat location. We had to decide how's that pool going to sit, how far off of the backyard does it sit. It was actually a 2-foot difference in drop. What are we going to do with that? But he walked us through it. He brought his little models that we could see what the pools look like and how you could envision entertaining friends, family, and then from there Mike got in contact with us. We signed the documents, Mike got in contact with us, and we started actually a few weeks later. So everything kind of moved really quickly for us, which was nice.
And the install actually went really smoothly. I mean, there was a few delays, but that's to be expected with the wind and the weather and things like this. But I gotta say, Mike and his crew, very knowledgeable at what they do. I was here when they were putting the pool in, and they dropped it in, and I looked at it, and I could swear that it was probably about a foot or two higher than it needed to be. Just by looking at it, I'm trying to figure out how he's gonna make this work, but end of the day, spot on. I mean, you couldn't have made it any better. Well, we had a concrete pool at our last house, and it certainly was sort of an effort to keep it clean all the time. The coping started to fall off a little bit. Inside you could see little chunks of concrete just sort of coming off. Fiberglass just seems to have a lot less maintenance to it. Looks cleaner, just easier to clean all around. Yeah,
it has that cleaner look to it. You can see the water better, it seems like, with the different color options that you guys offered. More Caribbean feel. The low maintenance, it seems to be low maintenance compared to a concrete pool. And I think Mike helped us, just from the overall experience, was a positive one with Pool Pros, so I think that probably helps making our decision with a fiberglass pool. The equipment is easy to use. Mike walked through it with us for pool school. And while we knew a little bit about how to operate the equipment and that sort of thing, Mike did walk through it with us and actually helped us. We didn't have the right adapter for our pool to clean it. And next morning you woke up 6 a.m. and there's the adapter sitting on the pool deck for us. So Mike, I think, really went above and beyond what he needed to make sure we were comfortable with the whole process and that we really enjoyed that fiberglass pool.
Yeah, and it certainly does. It may seem like a small thing, but even the difference between a fiberglass and our last concrete pool, when you're walking around in the pool, you don't touch the side and get scratched up. It's smooth. It just feels more comfortable.
Truthfulness, the open communication, it was all laid out before we started, between mostly Anthony and then Mike brought in after we kind of got to that contract point of it. Even the contract was well laid out, easy to understand. We had no surprises throughout. Mike was very clear about the weather. If the weather came, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have to push back. The water truck didn't show up. We had to fill it with our well. But we took it all in stride, and I think that's the biggest thing is when you're doing something like this with a pool, to not get so hung up on a timeline because it is all weather dependent. But Mike really put our concerns, I think, at ease with that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you start with a big project like this and you go with a company you might never have worked with before, you're always taking a chance. But you know, in this one, hindsight, you know, being 2020, we certainly made the right choice. I mean, all the stuff that we learned about ProPros after and during the process certainly helped, you know, solidify the decision we did make.
Was able to make it work on the hill. I don't think the other company that we were going to go with necessarily thought about that. How's that going to look at the end? How are we going to envision that? It was very much just put some concrete around it, but with Anthony and helping us too, it was really, okay, you guys can do the retaining wall, you can add the rock. So I think that's, cost-wise, it was pretty close.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the experience was great.